everyone. So today let us quickly get to our topic, that is the income tax. So first let us know the history and then we will start with our topic. It was like a person named as James Wilson. He was a British ruler in India. He went to a war and incurred a very big loss and he lost the war. After the news was spreaded across the world, the Queen Elizabeth got to know this news and said the British ruler James Wilson, I don't know how you are going to recover this amount, but it is in your head to recover all this amount. At that time, in the year 1860, the James Wilson started collecting money in the form of tax by the people. So whenever a people buy or purchase anything, they have to pay the tax. Whenever they sell anything, they have to pay the tax. Whenever they consume anything, they have to pay the tax. So if you see in India, this act was passed in the parliament as a special provision and then it got a majority of votes and it came into force. So it is said as the Income Tax Act 1962. Whenever you want to know any provisions, any rules regarding the income tax, you can simply visit or check the Income Tax Act of 1962. Now, let us know something new or something which is old for you. Maybe if you have any idea on this, it will be an old topic for you. If you do not have any idea on it, it will be a new topic for you. Now my question for all of you is, who should pay the tax? Of course, it is an individual who has to pay the tax. See, I am not going to any company or for any job. Now, am I eligible to pay the tax? The answer is a big no. Why? Because a person who is earning money, earning income, only he is eligible to pay the tax. Now let us know more about this. Now on what basis do the companies, do the income tax will charge the tax? See, if you want to know the basis, then you have to know the budget. See, in every year on February, either in the first week or in the second week, the budget will be announced. I hope you all are aware of this. If you are not aware of this, then in the next February, do watch the news channels. In that, you will get more information. As a commerce student, you have to watch the news channels and read newspapers too. So, coming back to the syllabus, it tells that the slab rate will be given by the income tax authorities itself. So we will know more about that in the future classes. So there is a separate chapter. I will post a separate video on the slab rates. Now coming to this, it is not 1986. I'm really sorry. This is 1962. It is my mistake. I'm sorry. This is 1962. So as I told you, a person should pay the tax based on the slab rate which is given by the Income Tax Act of 1962. So these slab rates will be discussed in the budget. Now coming to the most important one, how does an how does a person or an individual who is earning an income, how will he pay the tax? The answer is very simple. A person will pay the tax directly to the government of India just by sitting in his home. If he has a phone, if he has a laptop, You can just go to the Google and you can pay the income tax there. Now, if you want me to make a separate video on how the individual has to pay the income tax directly to the government, then let me know in the comment section below so that I'll be making a separate video on this. Now, I told you a person will pay directly to the government of India. So, an income tax is a direct tax. Why? He is paying directly to the government of India. So, let us know more about the direct tax as well as what is indirect tax. I'll just write it down for you so it will be easy for you. Okay, so what is a direct tax and what is an indirect tax? So first let us know what is indirect tax. So let me give you an example. Suppose you go to any bookstore and you ask the person to give the whiteboard marker and the person tells you that the cost of this marker is 15 rupees. When you purchase a marker and if you see the back cover in that marker, there will be something written as inclusive of tax. If you are not aware of this, next time when you buy any chips or any chocolate, then instead of keeping these covers in your locker or in your box, read the back cover. There will be something written as inclusive of tax. So, what does this mean by this word inclusive of tax? That means you are paying the tax which have already been included in 15 rupees. That means you are not knowing, you don't know that I am paying the tax to the government. So, without knowing, you are paying the tax to the government. Is it directly? Of course not. It is indirectly. Why it is indirectly? Are you paying it to the government? Are you paying 15 rupees to government? No, you are paying it to the shopkeeper. You are paying it to the shopkeeper. Then the shopkeeper will pay to the wholesaler. And the cycle goes on and on. So let us study more about the indirect tax. Now, can you give any best example for indirect tax? Of course, it is GST. Now, what do you mean by GST? It means that whenever a person purchases any goods for consumption, it will be said as a good. So, now what type of goods? It may be groceries, vegetables, chocolate, chips, anything. And what about the services? Suppose you buy a refrigerator, a fridge. On that, a person will come to your home and he will fix the fridge. So it is a services. On this also you are paying the tax to the person. So this is also an example for indirect tax. I hope you are clear with indirect tax. I would like to give you another example on this. So let us assume that there is a provision store or a supermarket. You go there and you go there with your friend. So let us assume that this is your friend. Don't take screenshot and share it to your friend. See, this is you. Don't do that. Okay. So you go to a provision store and there you wanted to buy a dairy milk chocolate. You wanted to buy a dairy milk chocolate, but you don't have any money in your pocket. Now you ask your friend to pay for this chocolate, and your friend also agrees, and she will pay for this. Can you see that there is a transferability of tax? So whatever the money you pay in that money, there will be already the tax which is included, right? On this, You're not paying the tax. You're not paying the money. Your friend is doing. That means there is a transferability of money. There is a transferability of tax. Now let us see, can this happen in the direct tax? See, let us assume that I have three land, three building, three building. Now all I have letted it for rent. I have letted it for rent. And from these three houses, I am earning an income of rupees 6 lakhs. I am earning an income of rupees 6 lakhs. Now, what does the government tell? It asked me to pay the tax, right? Now, can I tell my friend to pay the tax, or can you tell your friend to pay the tax? Will she pay the tax? Of course, no. Answer is a big no. Because it is your money. Out of this, you should only pay the tax. No person will pay the tax. That means there is no transferability of taxes. Where? In the direct tax. But can this happen in the indirect tax? Of course, yes. It can happen in the indirect tax. Now I hope you know what is the difference between the direct tax and the indirect tax, and what is a direct tax and what is an indirect tax. In short, if I want to tell you, and direct tax is a tax where the incidence and the impact is on the same person. Who has to pay the tax here? Who is earning income? The person only should pay the tax. And if it is indirect tax, where the incidence and the impact is on the another person or other person. Here, the person who is earning the income has an option either to pay the money or he can transfer the money to someone. So this was about the direct tax and the indirect tax. So now let us know next. Let us move to the next topic. Now one question will be hitting your head. Why should I pay the tax? I have done a very hard work. I've struggled a lot in my life to get this job. And now I am earning 1 lakh per month. And the government is asking me to pay the tax out of this. It is my struggle, my hard work. And why should I pay the tax to the government? Is it fair for me to pay the tax to the government? Of course, it is fair only. Why? Because you are expecting many facilities from the government. So, what are those facilities? You want road to walk, you want highways, you want hospital, you want public toilets, you want street lights, you want everything. Can the government provide this for you at a free of cost? No, no. It is you who have to pay the money to the government, and that money is in a form of tax. So whenever you get the income and which is prescribed by the slab rates given by the Income Tax Act of 1962, it is your responsibility, it is your obligation, it is your duty to pay the tax to the government. Now, if you want all these facilities, then of course you have to pay the tax, or else you don't have any rights to claim that. There is no proper road, there is no proper hospitals, there is no proper street lights. You don't have any rights to claim for this. And I also told you, a person who is not working, a person who is getting an income which is low as per the given slab rate, who is not eligible to pay for a who is not eligible for paying any taxes to the government. That one thing you have to keep in your mind. I hope you got this point till now. Can someone tell me why should a person pay the tax? A person should pay the tax because he wants all the requirements from the government. And whatever the taxes you pay to the government, it is a revenue for them. They take from you and they will give the services to you only. So I think this is the time to go to our syllabus and read what is there. Before going to our syllabus, let us know what is the assessment year and what is the previous year. So for this, let us assume that we are in the year 2019 and 20. So let us assume that we are in the year 2019 and 20. Now the government of India tells that whatever the income you earn in the 2019 and 20, you pay the tax to the government in the next year. So what is the next year? The next year is 2020 and 2021. I hope as a commerce student you all know what is the financial year of a business and a company. So can someone tell me the financial year? Yes, the financial year is 1st of April and ends on 31st March of next year. So what is the financial year for 2019 and 20? It is 1st of April 2019 and ends on 31st March of 2020. Now, whatever the income you earn between this period, that you have to pay as a tax to the government in the next year. That is on 1st of April 20 to 31st March of 21. See, now on which time or in which year you are paying the tax? It is in 2020 and 21. So this is known as assessment year. This is known as assessment year. So now what is the previous year? 2019 and 20 will be the previous year. I repeat this again. I will repeat this again. See, we have assumed that 2019 and 20 is our year, which is currently going. That is what we are assuming. So in this year, whatever whatever the income you earn in this year, that you will pay in the next year as a tax. So what is the next year? It is 2020 and 21. So in which year you are paying tax? In the year 2020 and sorry, this is 21. 2020 and 21. So this year is known as assessment year. On which year you are paying the tax, that will be known as assessment year. Then the previous of this year on which you have earned the income will be known as previous year. This will be known as previous year. I think now we are clear with the previous year and assessment year and also the financial years. So what is the financial year? A financial year is 1st April 2019 to 31st March of next year. 31st March of the next year. Now let us also learn a person who is paying the tax is said or is called in a separate name or in a different name as per the IT Act. As per the IT Act, we call a person who is paying the tax as an assessee. As an assessee. Now, if you heard me clearly, I told you that a person who pays the tax is known as an assessee. Now, if I want to tell you who is a person, as you all know, a person who is paying the tax, I'm sorry, a person is an individual. That will be your answer. The IT Act also tells you that a person is not only an individual, is it can also be an Hindu undivided family. Now, what do you mean by Hindu undivided family? I hope many of them will watch serial. And what will happen in the serial? A hero will be having a business where the business will be looked after by their grandfathers, great grandfathers, and all right. So that's what happens in the serial. And currently, the hero will be looking after the business. So the same thing, that is the Hindu undivided family. So who will be the head of this? It is Karta. It is Karta. Now, it can also be a company. It can also be a firm. It can also be what? It can also be a firm. It can also be an association of person. Association of person like Infosys. It can be an Infosys. It can be a TVS. It can be a TCS or anything. So the IT Act tells you that it can be an individual. It can be any Hindu undivided family. It can be any company. It can be any association of persons. I would like to tell you one thing. These three will earn a profit. They will earn a profit. They will not earn any income. As a businessman, will he get a salary? Of course not. He will give the salary. But in turn, he will earn a profit. So out of that profit, he has to pay the tax. Now, now can you tell me who is an assessee? An assessee is a person who is paying the tax. Now can you tell me who is a person? According to an Income Tax Act of 1962, the person consists of individual, Hindu undivided family, company, firm, or association of persons. See, I would also like to tell you one thing. If you look at the question papers of last 10 years, there will be at least any one of the question from out of this four. Out of this four, there will be a compulsory question for you. If you want, you can just check it out. Any question papers in the last 10 years, there will be any one of the questions out of this. So it is very simple. It is very simple. So what is an income tax? An income tax is a tax which is also known as a direct tax, where the incidence and the impact will fall on the same person. Or you can also write it in another way. An income tax is a tax, where it is also said as a direct tax, where the person who is earning the income, he should only pay the tax. Now, what do you mean by assessment year? Assessment year is an year where it is after the previous year. Now, what is the previous year? A previous year is a year which is before the assessment year. So, it is a year in which the income is earned. So, assessment year is a year in which the tax will be paid. Now, who is a person? According to an Income Tax Act of 1962, a person consists of individual, Hindu undivided family, company, firm, etc. Now, who is an assessee? An assessee is a person who is paying the tax to the government or income tax. So, be careful or be thorough with these concepts. Now, let us go to our syllabus. Let us do a quick recap of what we have studied from now. So, what is an income tax? An income tax is a tax. It is levied on the income earned by an individual. So, on what basis? It will depend on the slab rate. Now, who will collect the income tax? It will be directly paid to the government of India. I also told you income tax is a direct tax. So, this income tax will fall under the head CBDT. That means Central Board of Direct Tax. So, the head is Ministry of Finance. I hope you all know who is the Minister of Finance currently. If you are not aware of this, it is not much important for your exam, but it is important to know as a general knowledge. So I would like to suggest you to go to Google and you can search it. See, I would like to tell you one thing. I think I forgot to tell you this. I have been telling you that a person who earns the income will be paying the tax, right? Now, the Income Tax Act gives you the five heads. So, let us see what are the five heads that the Income Tax Act has given. Okay, so the Income Tax Act tells that the five heads of the income are the first one is income from salary. That means so you have seen that your mom and dad is going to an office regularly and getting a salary every month, and on what basis they have to pay the tax. Don't get worried and tell your mom and dad that you have to pay the tax. I have told you in the beginning itself, a tax will be paid only if it is above the slab rates or as per the slab rates. You will get to know about this in detail when I start this chapter. So for now, I'm just doing a basis and I'm giving you an introduction. So the five heads, among the five heads, the first head is income from salary. In government office and all, by along with giving the salary, they will also provide housing allowances. They will provide PF, and how you are going to calculate them. That you will study in this chapter income from salary. And the next head is income from house property. See what happens in house property is, suppose if I am having any five building and I have given it for rent to someone and I am earning a income on that, and I have to pay the tax, and on what basis I have to pay the tax, that we will learn here. So that is the second head. The third head is the profit and gain from business and profession. See, I have told you that a business or a company will not earn a salary, they will earn a profit. And out of that profit, the company has to pay the tax. Now, what do you mean by a profession? A profession can be like any person who is practicing company secretary, or who is practicing chartered account, or a CMA, or a lawyer, or a doctor, or an engineer, or whatever the profession it may be. So out of that profession, if he gets any profit, then he has to pay the tax for that. Now I will ask you a simple question. Can you tell me? Suppose I am practicing a profession of company secretary and I earned a profit of rupees 1 crore, and the government is asking me to pay 30% out of 1 crore. That is, I have to pay some amount of money to the government. Now, where shall I calculate that? Can I calculate in the head income from salary? Can I calculate it in this head? The answer is no. Okay. Now, can I calculate it in income from house property? Again, the answer is no. Okay, then. Can I calculate it in the business? No. Because a profession will be calculated in the profession itself. That is the profit and gain from profession. This is the part 2, which you will be learning in your next sem. And the profit and gains from any business will be calculated here. That is the profit and gain from business. Now the next head, that is the fourth head, that is capital gain. Suppose I have in the 1990s, somewhat my mom bought a gold chain of rupees 1 lakh, and today in 2020 she is selling that gold necklace at 1 crore. Now can you see the difference? Is there any profit to my mom? Of course there is a very huge profit, right? So that is a capital gain. When a person purchases any long-term capital asset and is selling the same asset which is more than the purchase price, then it is said as capital gain. Now, again I will ask you a question. Let us assume that I have gone to Goa and there I won a lottery of rupees 10 lakhs rupees. And the government is asking me to give 30% of that. That means I have to give 3 lakhs to the government. Now, where should I calculate that? I need to calculate that. Where shall I calculate? Can someone suggest me? Can I calculate it in the head income from salary? No. Can I calculate from income from house property? No. Can I calculate from business? No. Profession? No. Capital gain? No. Then the income tax is telling me that if you can't calculate in any of the four heads, then you can calculate in the income from other source. This is your fifth head. Here you can calculate that. That means if you can't calculate any of if you can't calculate the tax from any of the four heads, then you put it in the income from other source. Here lottery and if I get any casual income, that I will be calculating it here. So you will learn this in your next sem, that is your sixth sem. So don't worry much about that. Can you tell me what are the five heads of income? It is income from salary first head, income from house property second head, profit and gain from business and profession fourth head, capital gain capital gain fourth head, income from other source fifth head. So for you, the first unit it is introduction to income tax, and the next one is residential status and exempted income. See, in residential status, it is very easy for you to calculate, and it is very easy for you to get 6 marks out of this residential status. Believe me, here it is very simple. You have to just write it whether he is a resident of India or whether he is a non-resident of India. That's all. And in exempted income, the government of India or Income Tax Act tells that certain income, even if it is more than the prescribed rate given by the income tax, the person need not pay any tax to the government. The one example is agriculture. So let us study more about this in the future classes itself. Now, I asked you why do they collect the tax? And the answer is very simple because they provide many services like healthcare, education, employment, social security, navy, etc. Now, in order to provide all these facilities, they need some money to operate. So that money they collect as a tax from us. I also given you a very brief idea on what is direct tax and indirect tax. Now, how are they paid? I told you direct taxes are paid directly to the government by the people. When I say indirect tax, they are paid indirectly by the people through intermediaries. So the common examples for the direct tax is income tax and property tax. Whenever you purchase any property, you have to pay the tax. And indirect tax, it is GST. See, before there was something known as entertainment tax. Whenever you go to a movie theater and if you want to watch a movie, you have to buy a ticket. And on that ticket, you used to pay entertainment tax. But now you are paying GST. In GST, all this have been included. Sales tax is included, entertainment and all is been included in the GST itself. And the direct tax is imposed on the incomes or on profit, and indirect tax is imposed on a goods or a services. Now, who will pay the direct tax? The individual and the businessman will pay. And who will pay the indirect tax? The end consumer who is consuming the good. Suppose if I go to a shop and buy a pack of chips and I eat half chip, and if I sell it to someone, will anyone buy that? No. Then it is I who has consumed the chips, then I should only pay the tax. Or it can be transferred to my friend. Now, transferability cannot happen in a direct tax. So, administration, it is not much. I don't think we have to go in depth. So, I told you before that the CBDT is being head of the direct taxes, and CBIC is being the head for indirect taxes, and the Ministry of Finance is the head. And I also asked you to search in Google for who is a finance minister in the current scenario. Don't think I don't know the answer, that's why I'm telling you. So now, on what basis the income tax will be charged? I told you that whatever the income which a person in earned in a previous year, and the tax will be paid in the next year. So the next year is called as assessment year, and in the year which the person earns the income is known as a previous year. And the Finance Act, that is the Income Tax Act, will only give the rates in respect of certain income. And for lottery, it is 30%, and for long term capital gain, it is 20%, and for short term capital gain, it is 15%. I'll be telling you in detail when I start the problem. Now, what is an assessment year? Assessment year is a period of 12 months starting from the first day of April every year, in which the income, sorry, the tax will be paid. So, what is our assessment year? Our assessment year is 2020 to 21. Now, what is a previous year? A previous year is a year in which the income is earned. So, what is our previous year? Our previous year is 2019 and 20. Our previous year is 2019 and 20. So, this is also known as a financial year. Okay, now who is an assessee? An assessee is a person who is paying the tax. Now, I would like to tell you one thing. I think I have to write it in the whiteboard so it will be easy for you to understand.